Hey guys, how are you? Welcome into a Wednesday morning edition of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. Every morning here on BettingPros.com. You can get here by following me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt or following BettingPros on Twitter at BettingProsNFL. We are here on audio everywhere. You get your podcast, video on YouTube, and always being brought to you by BetMGM. $10 bet wins you $150. That's always above me here on YouTube. Use promo code JUICE150 to win that at BetMGM or BetMGM.com. All right. Oh, boy. It's one of those times. And I'm transparent with you guys, and when things are good, I bang my chest. When things are bad, I come to you hat in hand and say, fade away. And we are in a fade away period of when you should just take my picks and flush them down the toilet. So 1-2 on the pod last night. We wind up going 2-1 in college basketball because of the over for Nebraska. I was happily wrong about the Creighton Blue Jays. I told you guys last night I am a Monster Jays, I don't know what you want to call me, supporter, fan, close to the program, whatever you might want to call it. I've been covering them since 2004, and many friends in the administration, Coach McDermott, no other coach in the entire country texts me on my birthday, but that dude. That dude sends me happy birthday text messages because that's the guy that guy is. So super happy for Coach Mack. Amazing victory for him and the program to go there on the road in a hostile environment and go up by 19 points and withstand the run and then win. We get the over to come in as well. So 1-1 on that game, and the Creighton Blue Jays winning it outright. Beautiful. Love it. Made my night. Rest of the night was just kind of, butter. Seton Hall with the win outright at Michigan. Hello, outright. Have you guys been seeing what the Big Ten, we talked about it last night. The Big Ten is getting spanked by the Big East. I mean, just spanked. How about Butler, Michigan State tonight? Man, I want to take Butler at plus 2.5 at home. That's a really hard one. I'm leaning Butler, but I don't know what to do with that. And then everything else was crap. Like Maction 0-2. The Golden Knights give up a goal in the 11th minute. We had a goal, yes, in the first 10. So that's when you're running cold, those things happen. Hurricanes score in the 11th minute of the game, and we needed it in the first 10 minutes of the game. So just kind of a real bummer there. And then the over hit, too. I thought about betting over 1.5. They scored 2 goals, Carolina did, in the first period. So I didn't have the balls to can I say that? Can I say balls? I think I can. To go ahead and bet that. So not just blah. And then how about that Warriors pick? I faded the Warriors for the first time all year. The Brooklyn Nets get steamrolled. The Warriors are 12-2, guys. We have a bet on them to win over 47.5 games, and they're 12-2. They can basically play under 500 basketball by a ways for the rest of the year, and we're going to get that bet. I mean, that was my favorite bet of the NBA season, preseason. We're going to get that. I've been doing pretty good on my favorite future bets. Like my favorite bet preseason in college football was Ole Miss over 7.5 wins. That got there. My favorite bet for the NFL was over 6.5 wins for the Raiders. We're not there yet. We got 5 wins. Need 2 more wins for them. It may be hard to get 2 more wins, but we're doing okay there. And then my favorite bet in the NBA was the Warriors over 47.5 wins, and they're 12-2. So not bad. Not angry about it. So here's what we're doing today. I have an NFL play for you on Thursday night, which I don't really know how to give it to you, so I'm going to explain where we're at with that here in a second. And we got an NBA bet, and we've got a Maction bet. 1 unit in play, and I'm going to fight and really hold back on the urge to bet more than just a couple of player props coming up today in the Discord channel. I don't want to have more than 1.5 units in play. Okay, I'm going to hold myself back here just because we've had a really rough couple of days, and the bankroll is taking a beating. So I want to be light today. I was going to be light last night, and then I woke up and it was like, man, it's Maction. I looked at those numbers, and I was like, Ohio is plus 7.5 at home. Are you kidding me? They're playing so hard right now. Give me the 7.5, and then Eastern Michigan and Western Michigan. That Eastern offense has gone down the tubes, man. What happened to that thing? It was a pass-heavy offense. They were scoring like crazy, and game went way under. So went the over in that game, and that was wrong. So, I got too exposed. I should have just listened to myself, so I'm going to fight it. Today I'm going to fight it. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold off here because Thursday is the 500th episode of the Daily Juice podcast. So, I got to have I got to have some stuff going. I got to have like parlays going, and I'm going to have some fun here, right? We're going to go for the 500 parlay. Like, we're going to do some fun stuff coming up for the 500th episode of the Daily Juice. We have to, right? We haven't done like one of those light and dark parlays in a while, like one of those crazy ones from the first year. If you're an OG, you remember the light and the dark parlay and the light parlay hitting at like 8-1 or whatever it was. So we have to do something like that to try to have some fun. So I'm going to go into the lab and try to find something for tomorrow's podcast. But today, episode 499. Can you believe that? 499 consecutive days of this podcast. It's it's crazy. It really is. All right, let's get to the NFL play. And here is my dilemma. My dilemma is this. So 2 days ago, I gave you this bet. The bet of the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football against the Falcons, -6 Patriots. Opened at 5.5. Cordell Patterson is questionable for the game. He did practice today, so he might play, but he's not going to be 100%. And the line went from 5.5 to 6, and I hashtagged, or sorry, at everybody on the Discord channel, bet Patriots -6, 1 unit official play. So now the line's 7. And so if you're just hearing this for the first time and you're not on the Discord channel, well, hello, come on now. You're supposed to be on the Discord channel, and your notifications have to be turned on. But if you missed that, it's 7. And the difference between 6 and 7 is so significant. I mean, all the way down to just overtime. If you're in overtime, you don't kick the extra point. So we push. If Patriots would score a touchdown and win by 6, we would push. 6.5, I don't like. Buy it down to 6, to be quite honest. But it's 7 right now. It's not playable. So the official play is Patriots -6, okay? The Patriots offense is one of the best offenses in the NFL, and you need to stop sleeping on it. The Patriots defense is one of the best defenses in the NFL, and you need to stop sleeping on it. All right? I watched The Man in the Arena tonight with Tom Brady, episode 1. Everyone's making the comparison to the Patriots, who were 5-5 in 2001 and then went on to win the Super Bowl. I'm not making that declaration. However, a buddy of mine did preseason take a $100 bet, or put a $100 bet down. I did it for him, for 10-1 Patriots to win the AFC. It's not crazy. Patriots-Rams could happen. It could happen in LA. I mean, could you imagine? The line was 14, right, for that game? I wonder what the line would be if the Patriots played the Rams in the Super Bowl this year, what the line would be. My guess would be Rams -6, maybe 5.5, 6. Belichick would earn some respect, but Rams still would be a heavy favorite in that game. Patriots run the football. Their offensive line's healthy with Trent Brown. Mac Jones is right now, this is not crazy, Mac Jones, on paper, is a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. He's a top 15 quarterback. He's almost top 10 quarterback in the NFL on paper. Now, is he? We don't really know that yet. But the kid's playing really well, and he's starting to progress, and we saw it against the Browns, okay? This Falcons team is banged up. This Falcons defense is not good. This Falcons team is not good. The Patriots, on a short week on the road, I get it, but I think that's where they run the football, and they get in there, and their defense plays. And I don't think, without Patterson, they can't really move. The Falcons can't really move the football. And he's not going to be 100% even if he plays. No Calvin Ridley. I mean, this is obviously Matt Ryan, Boston College quarterback, and he wants to play well. But I got the Pats by 7. I think they win by a touchdown here. I think they cover that 6 points. I wouldn't touch it at 7, though. I really wouldn't. And it's either, if you want to play the game, I'd say it's a Falcons or a no play at this point, where the number is. But I like the Patriots -6. And 1 unit Patriots will go. We're on record 2 days ago. Now we're just putting it on the podcast. Patriots -6, and they have just been really, really good. And this has been a really good start. I mean, look at the losses. They fumbled the football against the Dolphins. They lost 17-16. They were driving to kick a game-winning field goal. They would have won that game. The doink off the upright against Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. Maybe they win that game. That's a maybe because Brady would have the football with a minute left, and we know what Tom Brady does when he has those chances. Just go watch Man in the Arena. If you don't know about the Brady story from 20 years ago, go watch what he did in the Super Bowl or what he did in multiple games for the Patriots. But Patriots would have had a lead. They could have won that game. Belichick punts on 4th down from his own 45-yard line. His defense is gassed and tired, and Dak Prescott goes down and scores a touchdown. Dak Prescott wins the game with the Dallas Cowboys. In overtime, though, they could have won that game. They had chances. They had field goals. They had kicks. They had potential to win that game, and they didn't. 3 losses right there, okay? But they were right in those games. Could have won all 3 of them. What happens if the Patriots, are sitting there with 9 wins right now? You would think differently, right? You'd be like, ooh, boy, kind of a different football team, right? Not saying they would be, but they're right there. And I think that's the caliber team we're talking about here. And I think the Falcons are in deep trouble on Thursday night. So Patriots -6 is the play, but it's gone. So, I wanted to give it out officially and tell you guys about it. If you missed it in the Discord channel, it's kind of like a thing like you got to be if you want to trail my plays here. Not that I would on Sunday because how bad I was on Sunday, but this is my team, and I bet on my team and against my team, and I do fairly well when I'm betting on or against my team, even though last week I allowed everyone to tell me to tease the Browns up and take the Browns in the Circa Million, and I was like, nope. I was like, this is the wrong side, guys. I don't like this side. And then the Patriots went out there and destroyed the Browns. So, not listening to myself. I am going to try this time to listen to myself when it comes to the Falcons -6. So, sorry, Patriots -6 against the Falcons. Okay, let's get to 2 plays going today. Half-unit plays on each. Let's start in football with Maction. Let's start with Northern Illinois against Buffalo. Look, this is a big game in the MAC. It's a chance for the MAC West title to get clinched for Northern, okay? Northern on the year, 6-3-1 against the number. Buffalo is 3-6-1, literally the opposite. They haven't covered the last 2 games. This is kind of a wild streak. Over the last 10, Buffalo is 3-6-1 against the number. Over the last 5, Buffalo is 1-4 against the number. In conference play, Buffalo is 1-4-1 against the number. At home, though, they're 2-2-1. This Buffalo team, either they run the ball or they don't move the ball very well. Northern's defense not very good. More on that here in a second. But Northern on the other side, 4-2 in the MAC against the spread. Last 10, 6-3-1. On the road, 3-2. Over the last 5, 3-2 against the number. When you start comparing stats here between Northern and Buffalo, you go right to the Buffalo rushing numbers, okay? And you're like, all right, they run the ball fairly well. 4.2 yards per rush, 184 yards per game, score 28 points per game, 5.3 yards per carry. And Northern, you can run all over these guys. 6 yards per carry given up, 126th in the country. Give up 218 yards on the ground per game, 119th in the country. Northern gives up 35 points per game, 113th in the country. Yuck. But this Buffalo team is somewhat one-dimensional to me. I've watched Buffalo. I'm like, man, this team's ugly. Northern, on the other hand, offensively, not bad. 30 points per game, 5.6 yards per play, 4.6 yards per rush. Up against a Buffalo defense that gives up 5.2 yards per rush. They run for 212 yards a game. Buffalo gives up 216 yards per game. You got a pass offense giving up 7.5 yards or complete 7.5 yards per pass play. How about Buffalo? 9.8 yards per pass play given up, 127th in the country. Oh boy, and they get thrown on like crazy. 25 pass plays because you can run on these guys. You throw, you run. You're throwing 244 yards per game. I mean, Buffalo's defense is so bad, and they run the ball. If they get behind here, I don't think they can do much to catch up. This number opened up at 2.5, and it's been bet down, which is somewhat surprising. And I'm kind of like, what am I missing? But then again, I've been way off on this. So you want to fade this? You want to take Buffalo, take the line move? Okay, not going to hate on it, but I got Northern on the road -1. I got a hotter team. I got a better offense, and even though Northern's defense is crap, I think they got a chance to wrap up the West here. I'm going to take Northern for a half a unit at -1 at -110 here to go ahead and beat Buffalo. I don't think Buffalo is all that good. The total is 60. If I had a play on that, it would be the under, but I don't have a play on it. It just seems for 2 teams that want to run the football, it seems pretty high. I mean, the number opened up at 64.5. It's been bit all the way down to 60. So to give you an idea of what people are expecting in this game. Low scoring. There could be weather in the area with Buffalo. It's upstate New York in late November, so you got to check the weather, obviously, on that. I'm just taking Northern. Northern -1. Forget the total. Taking Northern on the road, laying a point here. Basically a pick against Buffalo here for a half a unit. One game in the NBA I want to look at. And this game involves, well, I told you about the Patriots. It involves my basketball team. Boston Celtics on the road up against our favorite Atlanta Hawks. Look, we've been watching the Hawks, right? Watching them really well. No Jaylen Brown, which is significant, okay? Robert Williams III may be playing this game. Questionable. We know that there's definitely injuries for this Hawks team that are significant, in particular for in the long term. You got to look at DeAndre Hunter being out. When that guy left last year, Atlanta was a much different basketball team. Their depth got hurt as well in their last game as Kevin Huerter. Huerter got hurt in the game against the Orlando Magic, but the Hawks covered that game. If you look at where Atlanta has been, 5-10 against the number so far this year. However, they've covered their last 2 at home. At home, Atlanta is 5-1 against the number. Boston on the road is a whopping 6-2-1 against the spread, which is nuts. They did not cover, or I guess they pushed. No, sorry, they didn't cover. They were 2-point favorites. They were 4.5-point favorites in their last game against Cleveland. And that stat's not right because they played Cleveland and they didn't cover. It was 4.5 points and they won by 6. Let's see, who did Boston play 2 games ago? Because they're saying it's Cleveland. And that's not. Team rankings is not right on that. Hold on, let me pull up the Celtics because they didn't cover in their previous game, but because it snapped a pretty good streak for Boston. Yeah, that was against. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, it was. It was against Cavaliers. Home. It just doesn't have it as a away and away. It was home and away for that one for Cleveland. But they were +2, lost by 2. Pushed on that. They were -4.5. They won by 6. But before that, they had covered 5 straight games. Look, this Boston team is really, really good defensively, okay? But if you look at the numbers for Atlanta, when they play at home, they are a different basketball team at home. We've been watching this. We've been following this with Atlanta. And I just don't like the inconsistency of Boston right now. And you're going to have basically all Jason Tatum. The glass is what I would look at. John Collins rebounding. I'm going to be looking at that prop coming up here today. Clint Capella rebounds. Watching that prop today. Clint Capella over a half an assist, right? We've been talking about that forever as just like that should just be an automatic fire every day because he gets 1 assist and it goes over. The books are juicing it up like crazy, but it keeps on hitting, so it doesn't really matter. I just think Trae Young goes off tonight. I'm not really sure. You put Marcus Smart on him, I guess, but I just don't think this is going to be a game that Boston's going to look that great. The line has come down from 4.5 to 4. If it keeps on coming down, I like it even more. But I'm going to take the Hawks here at home to stay hot at home in front of their home crowd and to kind of turn the tables here as to where they were and what they were doing on that awful road trip because, we talked about it. We bet it against them. I mean, they had 6 games, and we talked about it a lot here against Brooklyn, Utah, Phoenix, Golden State, Utah, and Denver, and all but the Utah game was on the road. And they lost and didn't cover any of them. All 6 of those games, they lost and didn't cover. And they came home against Milwaukee, 2-point favorites, won by 20. Against Orlando, 10.5-point favorites, they won by 18. Now, that game was close in the fourth quarter, and then they had a little 5-minute spurt there to get it to 18. It was always kind of a nip-and-tuck cover, and then they got there. This number's 4. I like my team. I like Boston, but I'm very concerned about them on the glass. I'm very concerned about Trae Young going off and going crazy. And when Boston goes to Atlanta, the crowd's going to be jacked up and excited. I just think Atlanta's playing really well at home, not great on the road. They're 5-1 against the number at home, and they're 0-9. They're 0-9 on the road this season against the spread. For 6-2-1. 6-2-1. On the road for the Boston Celtics is pretty darn good. But Boston is 7-7 straight up. Atlanta is 6-9. They're 5-1 at home. Boston's just 5-4 on the road straight up this year. Numbers only a 2-possession game, -4. I'm going to lay it with a half a unit. Atlanta -4 against the Celtics. Okay? So the official plays here, Patriots -6 on Thursday Night Football. That number right now is unplayable, unfortunately. And then I'm taking the Hawks -4 against the Celtics and Northern Illinois -1 on the road at Buffalo for Maction coming up here tonight. I will have 2 player props in the Discord channel, but that's it. That's all I'm playing here on a Wednesday. I'm going to force myself to be light here. Just give me because I'm ice cold. Don't hate it if you fade my picks, okay? If you faded me, you were 5-2 yesterday. You faded everything I did, you went 5-2. So congratulations, that's a huge day for you. If I'm making you money, great, okay? That's what I'm here to do. Give you my thoughts, what I'm doing. Fade or follow, pick and choose, do what you want. Those are 2 bets I've made, or 3 bets I've made so far here with the Patriots -6, Hawks -4, and the Northern Illinois -1. Don't like it. That's all favorites. I don't really love that, but they're short numbers, at least for a little bit. A couple of short numbers there with a couple of them. My name's Matt Perrault. Make sure you're with us tomorrow for the 500th episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. Follow me on Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. Every morning we're here for the Daily Juice Podcast.